Hello everyone, this is Wilmar Calaguas and back again with a Module 4 for the STB Implementor 7-Step Process Handbook Guide. And today we are going to be talking about Module 4 in Step 1, which is Foundation. And these are the 12 ideal market question. So today, here's what we're going to cover. For brand new entrepreneurs, do not skip this module. You will be tempted to skim over it. And I know because that is exactly what I tried to do when I started my startup. I wanted to just focus on my product, on my service, and also building those components that I wanted to bring to my market. And I skimmed over this part of the process, which I learned later on, which I don't want you to make the same mistake, is for you to, take the time to do it now so that your macro understanding and your micro understanding of the industry, but also the minds of your potential customers, and to really, invest time to really figuring them out. And so definitely don't skim over this. I know you will be tempted to just want to work on your product or your service. And sometimes you will be tempted to want to work on all the other things like building a website and all the logos and business cards and all the stuff that you don't need to worry about that, just yet. So, take your time with learning your market. And do not be in a rush to go to market, but be motivated to really learn about your market and your potential customer. For business owners, it would be to revisit or to re-strategize. Depending if you're just a startup, just starting, or a business that's been around for a while, you need to do this module as well to re-strategize, or if you're a startup, maybe is to kind of revisit, and maybe you realize, I didn't really take time to figure out the market as much as I wanted to. It's just, a lot of times we, build a business because we work in that industry and we, don't want to work for somebody else. But then again, we end up kind of starting our own company, and then we think that customers are just going to come to our door, but it's seldom that way. And so you really have to take your time, to figure it out and really know your market and strategize. Same thing for business owners that have been around, longer. Maybe it's a new industry, a new product, or a consolidation of the products that you have now, which we worked on module number 2 of really maybe honing down on one or two of your services or your product, and then re-strategizing and maybe researching a new marketplace that you want to take your service or your product in that segment. Number 3, research a niche market and continue to critically figure out how to provide the solution they need. Why it's important to take as much time as you need to do the research and get into the minds of your segment. And then explain the process to diving in to your market's mind. And so we'll go through that process as we answer all 12 of these questions. So let's get to it. Step 1, Foundation, 12 Ideal Niche Market Question Analysis. This module is one of the most important steps to learning your niche market and providing the solution you need to take as much time as you need to do your research and get into the minds of your segment market. For niche market research, do the following. So this is purely research. This is someone like yourself as a new entrepreneur or as a business, and you're trying to provide a solution to the market, but you are trying to research the market and then find those people that you think that would be interested in buying or using your services. So this is purely from that standpoint of you doing your research so you know more about your market. And it only makes sense that you do, because the more you know about your market, the more you will be prepared once you start to market to them, that you understand who they are, and in a way, target the way you write your message to them so that it resonates with them and they can relate with it. And so, number one, go to Amazon and search the top 10 books in your subject matter. And so I would also not just read comments and reviews of these books, but I would actually read them. I read 32 books on business. Many of them are related towards how to build systems, how to think systems, how to create processes, what it means to have a systemized business, how a business can work like clockwork. I read Lean Systems, Six Sigma books. I read all 8 levels of them and kind of really understood what it's saying. And so it's not merely, just going to Amazon, and let's say work less, make more. It's not just, looking at the reviews, and you can learn a lot from the reviews and what people are saying, what they like about the book, what was the different things that they got out of it, what they really liked. So based on, what they say, and then when you write your marketing again, it will help tremendously in that aspect of it. But, with, reading books on your subject matter, it's really going to give you a good balance of information so that when you do talk to your market, they're relatively going to be, asking or wondering about the same things, hence why they read these books, so that they can get some ideas and some insights in how to solve the problems that they have. So I think it's also important to read the top 10 books in your particular field, in your particular market or subject matter. Then number 2, look at the 10 top influencers on your topic. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram and just kind of read the feeds, and go, to someone that's, pretty, resourceful, someone that's really out there in the market and has good engagement. Sometimes, we have people like they have a lot of followers, but, the engagement is lacking, but they're pretty popular in the marketplace. And so, you get some ideas, look at the influencers and who's really, influencing out there in terms of your subject matter. And so number 3, search to see the top 10 blogs and read the comments to see what the market is saying. There you can use Google, and then you can use BuzzSumo is another paid version that you can go to. Let's just go to that now. And what you'll do here is you'll enter in, the subject matter or your marketplace, and then it will pretty much give you the top articles that are being viewed in real time on Facebook engagement, Twitter, and all the major social media networks. And then if you click on it, you'll actually see, what the article is about and what people are saying about it. And then number 5, use Google AdWords tool to see what is being searched by your niche. You no longer can do that, and so the best thing to do is just to go on Google and then type in your keywords, and then you'll get to see the different ways and keywords that are being used to figure out and see what type of information and articles and ads are being marketed. So let's just say it was business, and then all the ads would be popping up on the top. So a lot of research, definitely use Google and these 5 different things to research your market, to get into the minds of your market. And in the process of doing these 5 things, you'll answer these 12 questions. So number 1, what keeps them awake at night? Sleepless nights, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, pondering. So when I did my research, what I found was time. Time was always a big factor as far as comments of people talking about their business, just needing more time for all aspects of things, whether it's business or life. The other thing was sacrifice. They sacrifice a lot. Sometimes they don't make or aren't in the position where they're happy, but they've sacrificed a lot. Management of all kinds of things with staff, time, and appointments, meetings, and then busy, being busy with minor tasks, so it takes up a lot of their time, and so they're not managing their time as effectively. They're thinking about unfinished work that they should have gotten done, or it's due, or some kind of deadline. And manual tracking pretty much their business, writing things down, although that's not a bad thing to write things down. But when you're dealing with a lot of different moving parts, sometimes writing it in a piece of paper is not the most effective thing. Maybe your to-do list would be great to track on just one sheet of paper. But when you're dealing with departments and different projects, it's a whole other ballgame. And then, stop loving what they do because they got into business loving this particular thing, and now it's kind of just become like a burden. Number 2, what are their biggest fears in business and personal life? Not knowing what's next, and that that just basically lacks planning. Step 1 of SDB implementer 7-step process is really trying to figure out what you do and who you are, and basically devise a plan to execute. Fear of closing down businesses because there's such an inconsistency of clients, revenue, and not having goals, not having the metrics of tracking exactly where they're at and where they want to be and what it really takes to get there. No plan, no future, like a revenue to support business and family. Number 3, what makes them angry and who are they angry at? So, lack of clients, returning calls and emails. So if you're in business, you probably have experienced this, where you do a ton of follow-up, but no return calls or emails, is what I found with reading articles. Doing a lot of work for little pay, it's another thing. Saying yes to everything clients needs, and so there's no boundaries that they're setting because they haven't mapped that out and haven't communicated that whether they communicate it or they've put, let's say, a 7-step process and how to manage all of those expectations. So therefore, they're having to commit to other things that they usually don't want to focus on, which they could do, but it just takes more time, and then they're still getting paid a lot less than what they believe it's worth. And so it gets them angry. And so number 4, what are 3 to 5 top daily frustrations? Not enough time to finish everything, not organized, staff are inconsistent with work. So there's no workflow, there's no structure. And so sometimes, it's not staff's fault, it's just it hasn't been laid out to highlight exactly how that's going to work. So again, no systems in place. Hard to find good workers. I find that a lot, especially in my strategy calls. That's kind of like one of the biggest frustration is, finding good people that do good work, that not only do good work, but are consistent. Then number 5, what trends are occurring and will occur in their business or lives? New product ideas and services that they want to provide, new employee hires and training. So it's a lot of onboarding and being able to train new staff. It's a constant thing that is occurring. And then there's always new tech. There's always new tech, new software out there available for their business. But again, it's a ton of options and not a lot of time to figure out what's best. Number 6, what do they secretly desire most in their life and business? Be on vacation instead of at work. Spend more time with family, life besides just business. Number 7, is there a built-in bias in the way they make decisions? For example, engineers are very exceptionally analytical. For my particular niche and market, there's a bias when they want to start, building systems into their business or building systems is hard. Figuring out processes takes so much time. I don't have enough time. Documenting systems and processes take too much work, and they already have work, enough work where they don't need to add any more work. And then no one likes SOP, standard operating procedures, and so nobody even reads them, which is actually true. But I think if you make it simple enough and you make the responsibility that your staff or staff or a procedure that they need to do and make that be part of their work, then now since they're involved in creating it, then they're more invested into executing it. But more on that later. And then number 8, do they have their language or jargon they use? Since I'm in business, a lot of marketing, sales, and definitely accounting terms that they talk about. Number 9, are there anyone else in the market selling to them, and how are they reaching them? So for me, I decided to do Facebook marketing for my company and just committed to really mastering Facebook marketing. Hence why you're probably in this program is through Facebook marketing. And on Facebook marketing, you can actually research, if you Facebook ad library. So if you go on Facebook, you can actually look at, I'm just going to put consultants, since I do consulting. And you can actually look to see what other your competitors and how they're reaching their markets. And so this one looks like he's a consultant for, it looks like playing golf. Don't 3-putt your marketing. Okay, maybe it's not. Do it solutions. Looks like it's social media marketing and email marketing for small businesses. And so you can kind of see, the different ad angles, the different images that they're using, different audiences that they're using. So if you go through, for Facebook, if you're using Facebook marketing, you can definitely see what kind of ads your competitors are using. And so you can get an idea of, what you can do on your end to reach the same, demographics. And then so if you click on this actual ad, it's not loading it for some reason. Maybe we could try another one. Business consulting. Okay, let's do this tax one. So if you click on the ad, you can actually see where it leads to. And so this one leads to pretty much a website, but sometimes it'll lead you to a landing page and a sales page, and you can get a lot of context in that sense, and then kind of see what kind of copy and how they're marketing and what kind of things that they're offering. So you can definitely look to see what your competitors are doing with that, and see if it's actually working by researching the company to see if they're actually successful and are having good success based on what you see and when you do your research with them. Has anyone in the market been successful reaching out? What success are they having? Again, Facebook marketing or Google, your competitors, to see, what kind of ads are they doing. And so on Google, like this one, manage your business spend in real time. So again, this is just an ad. So if you click on it, then this is just looks like somebody's website, and then you can sign up. So that one is just advertisement to get them to their website, and not necessarily a landing page. Number 11, has anyone in the market been failing at reaching them? How are they doing it? When you do just basic research on Facebook marketing, Instagram, Google ads, retargeting, if you follow enough people as you do your research, you follow enough people, you go on enough websites with your particular field, you'll start to see retargeting and all these ads pop up out of nowhere on your screen. You'll see them on Facebook, you'll see them on Instagram, and then the retargeting ads, pay good attention to see how they're marketing to you and at what time and what placement, especially on Facebook. Is it on your feed? Is it on the side? Is it, on your messenger? There's all kinds of retargeting things, that are that people do. So definitely learn to see how that's being done to your customer, because if you went on their website that has a similar niche or product or service, then you'll see their tactic, right? And so when you follow someone's business, like, don't listen to what they're saying, but just follow what they're doing. And if you analyze a company deep enough, you can actually see where their marketing dollars are going. So again, this module is all about research and being analytical and taking an analysis of your market and also your competitors. Number 12, what's taking up most of their time and what's constantly on their mind. And so I do many strategy sessions, and it comes down, it doesn't matter what type of business, what kind of systems and implementations that they need. The bottom line is they want to increase sales, profits, revenue, get more clients, and digitizing their business so that they don't have to do necessarily all the work, but they want to put systems in place to alleviate task, and so they can focus on like higher caliber tasks for their staff and just be more effective. And that's what for me, through my research and then also personal experience, it just comes down to sales and profits and getting more clients. So this is very simple module, very important module, but it's also simple not to do, and you'll definitely be tempted to skip or skim or not take as much time on this part of it. And so depending where you fall as a new entrepreneur or as a business owner, take time, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, since you have all the time in the world right now, in a sense of you're starting from scratch. You may be working full time, but you don't have all these other moving parts as to a startup that's already has a lot of moving parts. And if you're a business that's been around for a long time, so you have a lot of moving parts. But take the time to definitely do the research and then to answer the 12 ideal market questions. And the only 4 things that matter when you systemize your business is understanding what systems you need, how those systems process, documenting how they all work. And again, documentation is written, video, and checklist forms, and then your staff or you executing those things. Aside from closing sales, you will be tempted to do other things, but when it comes to systemization, your brain power has to be focused on these 4 parts: implementing systems you need today, figuring out its process, documenting them, and then executing them. All right, that's it for this module. I will see you on the next one right now.